Man, listen, these cities are crazy. Listen, man, I am never, ever going to New York City again without security. Period. Last time I was in New York, I rode the train and I got attacked by a bunch of mimes. They did unspeakable things to me. Ah, God, I can't help it. I'm a dad. Open it, cracks. This is the dopest dad podcast. Yo, what's good? I hope that joke was as good for you as it was for me. It was so good. Welcome to the Dope Ass Dad Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, King Yumba. We are so excited to have you here today. And as always, we bring you dope ass dad content so that you can be a dope ass dad. And you know what? You can also help us become better dope ass dads. Listen, we always start the episode with a dope ass dad tip of the day. So let's go ahead and get it rocking. And the dope ass dad tip of the day is having emotional intelligence.
Major key.
Brothers, this is a heavy conversation because we've been always taught to be the rock of the family, be strong, be, deliberate, be brolic, all these things. And that's cool too because we are the backbone with the tip of the spear, as my pops used to say. We also have to understand that we're dealing with human beings and we are ourselves human beings. And that we have to deal with people on various levels, not just a physical level, not just a black and white level. And sometimes there are gray areas, especially dealing with the opposite sex, right? An opposite gender, or whatever, however you want to call it. So, and obviously our children. So I'm going to give you some keys to achieving emotional intelligence. And before we get into the keys, I want to just break down what emotional intelligence is real quick, because it's a very interesting concept, right? So, the understanding of emotional intelligence, or EI, refers to the ability to perceive or control or evaluate emotions. Now, why is that so important? Well, it's important, one, because you want to have the ability to express and control emotions. That's essential. But it's also very essential to have the ability to understand and interpret and respond to the emotions of others. I mean, imagine a world where you're living where you don't really respond to someone feeling sad or when someone's angry, and imagine how they may feel. Imagine how you feel when no one's responding to you. I mean, we talked about mental health in the last episode and how it's at an all-time low for men. And I think a lot of that is because we're just taught to just, get over it and figure it out. But at the end of the day, there's more to it, and that's called emotional intelligence. And sometimes if we want something, we got to give it, which is the first key to emotional intelligence. Giving what you expect to receive. If we are in a position where we don't get that love and that consideration and that endearing kind of conversation about what we're going through, maybe we'll get it more if we give it. I'm a firm believer that you can't give what you don't have, and you can't get what you're not willing to give. And that's heavy, right? Like if I only had $100, I can't give you $1 million, right? But I also can't expect to get $1 million if I don't give $1 million worth of effort, worth of work, worth of value, right? So I can't be someone who is expecting to get something without expecting to provide value, equity, inspired action towards getting that. And that goes for emotions too, right? If I want someone to hear me out and listen to my perspective, I can't just gaslight them to death and talk their ear off to death and then get mad when they don't hear me out, when I don't hear the other person out as well. I'm just going to shut that person down. And as dope-ass dads, it's really important to consider that because, brothers, I'm raising a daughter by myself. And even though she's 2, man, I already know she's going to have opinions. She already does. She wants to eat certain things. She wants to go to bed at a certain time. Now, I'm the daddy. I create that fence. But at the end of the day, I have to be able to hear her. And I have to be able to let her trust me, let her know that she can express herself. And that's EI, it's emotional intelligence, my brothers. Another way to be emotionally intelligent is to be a security blanket. I already talked about the fence, right? So the security blanket is not so much like a smothering blanket. I'm not smothering her. I'm just setting up the fence, right? So think of it like I'm the fence around the island, right? And it protects her from the alligators and the sharks in the water. Everything inside the island she can play with. She can play with the coconuts and the vines and the toucans and the flamingos. I'm getting lost in this metaphor. But the point is that You want to be able to allow the child to be able to do what she needs and wants to do that pleases her. Because at the end of the day, that's going to give her confidence. It's going to give her mental toughness and make her feel that she can trust you because she can experience life through her own eyes with your blessing. And that's a beautiful thing, whether you're a dad or a mom, but especially as a dad to a little girl, to know that she has your blessing, to be confident. Man, this young girl's going to take over the world in a positive way, and that's a beautiful thing. Another way that we can have emotional intelligence, another key, is to understand that, listen, our children are not our property. And this is something that I heard from a vlog of Sadhguru on one of his YouTube channel. This is something that I heard from Sadhguru on one of his videos on his YouTube channel that I thought was very, very insightful. What he said was that we do not own our children. We are just born older than them. Now, man, if this mic wasn't on a stand, I would drop that bitch. Like, boom. Because that was hard, man. Think about it. Like, we don't own our children. They're not property. Yo, sometimes, like, our parents, they say some crazy things to us. I experienced it. My dad be on some crazy shit. I'm not even going to try to call him out because I love him. And everybody loves him too, so we're not going to go there. But listen, I am not wearing your skin, bro. I am wearing my skin. I'm doing my thing as a human being, and we all are, you know? And I think it's very important to understand that even as a toddler, that child is her own being, her own human, and she's going to be able to contribute in her own way to humanity. And as a result, I'm not necessarily smarter than her. I'm just born older than her. I'm just born before her. And as a result, I'm older than her, so I possess some wisdom. But that doesn't mean that I'm more smarter or I'm better or I'm greater than. I'm just older. And as a result, I see things from a different perspective. And I should be bringing her up to my level instead of coming down to hers. And another key to add to that is to create an environment of empathy and mutual respect early. As I mentioned before, my child is a toddler. Some of you guys have toddlers. Some of you guys have teens. Some of you guys have 30-year-old kids. It doesn't matter. But if you create an environment of mutual respect and empathy as soon as you can, then along the lines, when you're old and gray and your ass is in a home, they're going to want to come visit you because they love you, because they look at you as somebody who gave them the ammunition to be of love. Right? We talked about you can't receive what you don't expect to give. And at some point, you're going to need them kids to take care of you. Like my grandmother used to say, twice a baby, once a man. We're going to go back into being a baby at one point. So at the end of the day, let's make sure that we create that environment of empathy and understanding and mutual respect so that we can get it. Not to mention, it's not so much about quid pro quo. It's just about like we make a better planet, make a better environment. It's happier, it's healthier. It just feels better. There's more love involved. And these are conversations that we don't have enough, especially in the African American communities and the families. Like, you know, having that conversation of love and of empathy and of light and of trust. There's a lot of like, you know, by the iron sword kind of stuff. And, you know, I think that comes from a different kind of background that we wouldn't get into right now, but that we've evolved from, if you know what I mean. And then lastly, this is the last key of having emotional intelligence that I want you to take with you and put it in your back pocket. And this is knowing that hurt people hurt people. It's heavy, y'all. Listen, understand. You don't necessarily have to be the recipient of someone else's pain. Remember what I said. You don't have to always be the recipient of someone else's pain. In fact, you don't need to be the recipient at all. You could just be the observer. If you do not personalize other people's pain and just become an observer, you understand that they're inherently good people. They're just going through something. Now that could be a really big hurdle for you, or a really big relief for some of you guys who are co-parenting. If you're going through something with a co-parent and it's not working out that well, or you guys are constantly arguing or butting heads over simple things, just maybe not personalize it so much. Maybe she or he is going through something that they don't really necessarily know how to express or know how to get over, and as a result, they're lashing out on you. You know, there's always three different individuals in a relationship. There's the person who's going through it, or the victim. There's the ally who's basically helping that victim. And then there is the essential enemy. And a lot of times when it comes to co-parenting, we find ourselves in the enemy capacity of the relationship. But that's okay. As long as we understand where that person sees us, we're able to communicate a little bit differently. And maybe have conversations like, hey, I see you. I feel your pain. Let me know how I can help you. Being of service always makes you valuable. When you're able to not personalize things, you're not fed up with people. You're not fed up with what's going on. And then, you know, you're able to process things a little bit smoother. You know, when people are struggling and through a lot of pain, just expect shit and then clean it up. Like I do with my daughter after I feed her oatmeal. And that ends the Dope Ass Dad podcast tip of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, we shall proceed to our next activity. All right, family, welcome back. Today's activity is going to be a timeless classic with me and my daughter.
Playdough.
Yeah, that's right, Playdough. So one of the beautiful things about Playdough is because you can eat it, we play with it together, and it gives us some bonding time. We'll separate about 2 to 3 colors. And I do that so that we can give her some more learning opportunities. She can pick out the colors. And I can encourage her to learn in a different way. And she feels so accomplished when she gets the right answer. So we can make them smaller, big. Remember, we can make them into a, what's this? A cylinder? So aside from the opportunity to learn in multiple ways, it's great for her manual dexterity. It helps encourage her hand strength. Helps with her sensory. This is something that could be done from about 1.5 years old and up. Another opportunity in Play-Doh is to use cookie cutters to cut out shapes. You cut out the shapes, you give her an opportunity to learn about which shapes that she can see, and then she can touch them, hold them, and then feel them in a 3-dimensional way. So this is just one of my activities that I do with my daughter as regularly as possible. What is this? I would like to see what you guys do. What kind of activities do you guys do with your children that we can add to the program? Also, if you enjoyed this one, maybe you can share you guys doing this with your children. Aside from colors and shapes, Play-Doh is amazing for stress relief. It's a Montessori activity, helping children connect to their own independence, being creative while in a monitored setting. So she gets to see the shapes and feel the shapes that was once from a pile of dough. Another benefit of Play-Doh is the concentration value. See how focused she is on the items in front of her and how each one works. She is in complete discovery mode. And that's awesome. That's what we want. Peace. Well, you guys made it through another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the dope ass dad tip of the day. I hope you enjoyed the dope ass dad activity. And as always, we like to end each and every episode with an aligning moment brought to you by Moments of Alignment. Now, the alignment moment is where we bring to you something, a word of comfort, a word of benefit, of value, spiritual wisdom. We're going to go into affirmations, and I hope it makes your day and your night and the rest of your week. This is your aligning moment brought to you by Moments of Alignment. I am enough and I have everything. I choose to accept myself. I am safe. I am loved. It is okay for me to feel my feelings. My pain is temporary. I am not my thoughts. I am the thinker of my thoughts. I am strong. I can create my own happiness. I am loved. And I am loved by those who love me. I am capable of anything. The future is so bright. Achieving my goals is inevitable. I am strong enough to let go of the past. I am doing the best I can do. My opinions matter. My opinions count, even if they are not in the majority. I deserve respect and kind treatment from others, as well as myself. My choices matter and have an impact on my life. What I do matters, no matter how small it may seem at the time. My feelings are valid. This aligning moment was dedicated to the idea of having emotional intelligence. I wanted to give some emotional intelligence affirmations to you that you can use when you are feeling a little down. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dope Ass Dad Podcast. Thank you for being a dope ass dad. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing in advance. And let's get you back next episode. So make sure you hit that alert button so you can get dinged and bing bonged when we about to drop. Thank you for coming by. What happened to peace? Peace.
They don't want you to have a dad as dope as Lovely's.
Keep it moving. Nothing to say here. Keep it moving.